Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Name Gora Karuna Swarupaya Hare Krishna Prasayate Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Name Gora Karuna Swarupaya Hare Krishna Prasayate Krishna Chaitanya Jaya Goranga Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Goranga Jaya Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Goranga Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Hare Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Pastimes Bhakta Krishna Hare Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Pastimes Bhakta Krishna Gopala Devi Sarvama Madana Gopala Govinda Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Madana Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda, Ananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda, Ananda Paramahamsa. Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayate. Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayate.
Horrible Namaste. Today, we will discuss in meditation, in focus, to have understanding of Krishna's opulence. So, if you read through our exposure in this world, the meaning of opulence is this: having or indicating wealth, abundant or plentiful. So that's the meaning of opulent, very wealthy. So when we discuss about the glories of God, one of the opulence that we should be focusing in our study is God's compassion upon us, His love upon us. He loves us, and all the activities that He does and He engages in is connected with love. Caring for us, His pleasure is all about love. Because when we have this, we're brought up in a materialistic society, and when we talk about God, it's of someone who is very wealthy, and we go to Him and ask, please, give me something. Right? That's our relationship. Protect me, give me something. But there's one thing that we are not able to appreciate because previously, because we have not come in contact with someone who's really the representative of God's compassion, God's love. And now we have this opportunity to come in contact with the disciplic succession coming from God Himself, so we can experience this wealth, this opulence of God about His compassion. And what is the greatest wealth? That is inseparable from us is the ability to love. Happiness. And the key here is to be in harmony with God's will. So the spiritual master comes so to guide us to be in harmony with the opulence of God. Because the opulence of God, you can see it everywhere here through your material senses. The creation of Lord Brahma, all the beauty that you see here temporarily is coming from God. But the eternal opulence of God's abundant, overflowing, unlimited, His love for us. And we, the living entity, why are we encumbered? Why are we suffering? Why are we not experiencing transcendence? Because our love is directed upon the temporary. Our love, our longing for happiness is unlimited. And only God, the supreme opulent, the cause of all causes, the Lord of love, the self-sufficient, supreme person, can address that and can give us that longing. We want eternal loving relationship, refuge. Only someone who is eternal, a person, and that is God, Krsna. So now we have come in contact with this compassion of God. The reason I'm trying to speak this to all of you and me also, So we can be aware of what have been disregarded, what has been defocused. It's about our joy and happiness. It's love for God, loving God. That's why the teachings of Lord Jesus Christ is love the Supreme Person above all, and second is love your brothers, your neighbors, everybody else as you love yourself. It becomes natural that when you water the root of the tree, all the leaves and branches will be nourished. It will be natural that when you're loving the Supreme Person, or you're beginning to have this understanding, and you're guided towards that word of love, transcendental love that is eternal, pleasing God, you begin to experience joy which is inseparable from you. And then you look around, you begin to see what separates us from that joy. It is what we have been exposed in this material world. The false ego. Doing activities for our own self. We're very selfish. It's all about our control. So I'll read here. So I'll just talk to you on a layman's, real activities that we can grasp immediately. We have been given the 9 process of devotional service, offering food to Lord Krsna. We prepare foodstuffs, simple foodstuffs. And through our study program, we have heard that simply by meditating and engaging in the process that's given by the saintly person, we can be connected with Lord Krsna, as what the Brahmana did in meditation when he offered the rice, the sweet rice, and his thinking. He offered it in devotion, in his mind. And when he touched it, his finger got burned. And Lord Krsna, Lord Narayan, smiled, and he sent his word to fetch the Brahmana. So it's all about Krishna's watching us, looking at us. And he smiles. He's happy when we are in the direction of connecting ourselves in doing his will. And it gives us joy. It's natural. When we decide, I want to serve and love God. And I don't know how to do it, but I've been given this instruction, how I can serve God. Through the compassion and guidance of God himself, the bona fide spiritual master. So you experience joy. And not only that, there's the story of Narada Muni. Narada Muni, his mother, when he was a child, his mother, because in India before, in the holy places, during rainy season, all the saints and sages stay in one place because it's always raining, there's flood, they cannot walk around and travel, so they wait for the rainy season to pass by. So they were there chanting and engaging in devotional loving service to Lord Krsna. This boy, who is the son of a maid servant serving the saintly person. Very simple lady. And Narada Muni, prior to becoming Narada Muni, he's a boy, as big as Jaden, as old as Jaden, Whenever the devotees, the pure devotees, after his mother prepared the foodstuff and offered it to the devotees, what he does is he goes there and begs, can I have some remnants of the food that was offered to Lord Krsna and you have partaken? So he's allowed. Because of eating prasadam, because he was asked, how come you're Narada Muni? You're the eternal traveler, the eternal spaceman who travels in the material world in the spiritual world. He has this pass. He can go anywhere, anytime. And he has this power. You see, the devotee of God has so much compassion. I'll narrate to you one of his activity. So when he was asked, how were you able to come to that point of becoming a Radha Muni? A spiritual master, a lover of God. He said, simply by associating with the devotees of God and eating prasadam. So that is the power of Krishna. So if you look closely, the science of Bhakti Yoga is all about love. It's all about embracing us so we can experience this love. And God's opulence is about compassion. When you're loving someone, you have this, for example, you love your child, You see your child, a mother, when you were in a baby body, you're crawling, you're standing, The mother has so much compassion upon you that when you stumble, she's there to hold you so you won't fall. You're helpless, but she's there helping you, teaching you. She takes time because she loves you. It's just one example of love. We're talking here about God's compassion, who is always there waiting for us. And how do we achieve that and experience that compassion? By coming in contact with His loving servant, who guides us, who teaches us how to enter that world of love that is transcendental to the world of materialism. It is not touched by lust, anger, and greed. It is not touched by the three modes of material nature. It is about our eternal true identity. What we're longing for, what we're looking for is that love. That's why we struggle so hard to travel in this world, on and on, searching for love. Where can I find love? But because whom we come in contact, they are not really loving God. They cannot see God. They don't see God. And they have this inkling of Supreme Person, but they cannot see Him. So, how to see God? Through the representative of God. That's why when Lord Jesus Christ came here, He said, if you see me, you see the one who sent me. How do we see that? We see that through His life, His sacrifice. He engaged in so much austerity. You know what's austerity? Sacrifice. The work you do for someone you love. We want to experience that here, but because it's not really transcendental, it is an end, and it's not really satisfying. So one time, my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, he comes here years back in Manila, passing on the teachings of the instructing spiritual master, the teachings of Parampara, teachings of Lord Krishna, to embrace us. So he comes and speaks the truth about our true nature, how we can achieve that experience of love that we're longing for. One time, after the engagement, because it was in Manila, PICC, Philippine International Convention Center. And what happened was, I think they had this renovation, so they closed the main gate. And Srila Prabhupada she passed on the other side, and the venue is on the other side. But supposedly, all the people who would be attending that program should pass on the main gate, but it's closed. So after the speaking engagement, Srila Prabhupada went to the front gate, and it's closed. And when he was there, he saw these two, old people, husband and wife. looking. They were not able to attend the program of Srila Prabhupada. They're outside. Because they don't know how, they don't know. And we did not put anything there to tell people to, in case they want to attend and they have been invited to attend, the thoroughfare when they should pass should be at the side. Then they should put a mark. And Srila Prabhupada look up. There's no sign. And he felt very sad. He's so sad seeing the two old people, husband and wife, were prepared to attend the program. And then he talked to us. He said, how come you did not put a sign there? Then when I saw these two old couple who wanted to attend, they was just there looking, staring, and the program is finished, you know. The spiritual master has so much love and compassion for everyone because he's the representative of God. So when a person gets closer to God through and not only achieving the pleasure of God, loving God, he experienced God's compassion, how much he's been loved. And because of that experience of care and compassion from Krsna, we now begin to see what is lacking, what has disconnected all the living entities in this material world, how much they are suffering. So the devotee comes because he cares for us. He loves us. So look closely. When Narada Muni was traveling, he saw the son of the king of heaven. Kasi he was in Kailasa, where Lord Shiva's abode, the holy place. And these two individuals were naked in this Kailasa lake. And they were so intoxicated with drinking wine and surrounded by naked girls. And they were merrymaking, you know, the center of the universe. And when Narada Muni saw them, the girls, when they saw Narada Muni, they covered their bodies. But the two, supposedly in a very high position, the son of the treasurer of heaven, Kubera, Manigriva and Nala Kubera, they did not, they were not shameless. They were shameless and they were shameless. They're not ashamed that they're naked because they were so intoxicated. They were so engrossed under the influence of wine. And Narada Muni said to them, because you're very insensitive, you have committed a great offense by desecrating this holy place, I curse you to be born as trees. You've seen trees, they're immovable. Di ba? But they're living entities. They grow. Di ba? That's a sign of, when there is life, there is growth. When there is life, there is reproduction. When there is life, there's the feeling. That's what we have discussed. So what we're discussing is not imagination. It's the real thing, you know, everything here, what we're discussing coming from God is real. Not the pigment of our imagination. So that's why some people will say, oh, Siddhaswarup said that. Our spiritual master. It's true. He's called Jagad Guru Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Paribhak Acharya because he sat down and heard from His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, the instructing spiritual master who is not different from God. And he followed, he surrendered, he followed the process. He have heard. He have seen the truth. That's why he's called Paramahamsa. Jagad Guru Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, the traveling spiritual master. He goes around like Narada Muni. So that's the qualification of the spiritual master. The opulence of God, compassion. He manifests that through his activities and action. He goes to this world, any place, to pass on, to share, to give, to embrace, to give that love to all of us who are willing. And even though not willing, like Narada Muni passing by there, so Manigriba and Alakubera, I curse you to be born as trees. But that is a blessing because they were born in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj as the twin Arjuna trees that Krsna, when he was tied by the mortar, by the side of the mortar, he pulled the mortar and it went between the two trees and he pulled it and the twin giant trees fell down. So I like to discuss 2 points here. The instruction, everything that the Krishna's representative do is eternal. And not only that, it is all about God's love. His curse is a blessing for them. They were able to see Lord Krishna. And when the twin Arjuna's tree fell down, what happened was the two demigods came out. They were shining, dazzling. And they bowed down and offered respect to Lord Krishna and asked benediction. Just because they were seen by Narada Muni. Understand? And not only that, because the will of the spiritual master is in harmony with the will of God and it is eternal. So when they were cursed, Krishna fulfilled that curse. And that curse is not about damnation. It's not about revenge, retribution, or giving pain to the living entity who have been very sinful, who committed an offense, but rather a benediction, an embrace of compassion, because Krishna is the supreme purifier. So they came in contact with Lord Krishna. They came in contact, Narada Muni saw them and blessed them with that curse. And they were saved and protected to be in service again, amiably doing the will of God. So that is the qualification of the spiritual master. The spiritual master relationship with you is eternal. And there's only one spiritual master, Krishna. That's why how do you see a spiritual master? Who gives you the vision? Who is the spiritual master? It's not someone, someone John Doe there, or someone who has been appointed, or someone who is supposedly in a place or met someone. Someone, I have all these accolades, I'm a disciple of Lord Vyasadeva, like Rama Sansuta sitting on the Vyasasan, but not seeing Lord Krishna, Lord Balaram. You see? How do you see that? How do you see the spiritual master? Because the spiritual master is to be seen by Krishna himself. He gives you this vision when you desire through his mercy. He gives you even for a glimpse, a moment. This is my devotee. Just like I was brought up in a Christian world wherein when Lord Jesus Christ, when Elijah was waiting, John the Baptist was there waiting for the Messiah to come. And Jesus Christ came. And he said, baptize me. He said, my dear Lord, you should be the one baptizing me. No, let the will of the Father be done for his glories. He's seeing, the representative of God. Who gives you that vision? So there's two energies. Maya. Maya means illusion. When we try to do our own will, Maya takes over. When we decide to serve God and pray and humbly, very fortunate to come in contact with the devotee of God, who gives us vision, Krishna. And it's about our eternal transcendental relationship with Him. So, spiritual life, what we're doing, is a practice we do with the 9 process of devotional service with the blessing of Krishna and His devotees. It's an eternal relationship. That's why one should not pose as a spiritual master if you cannot save people from death. Anyone. What is death? Separation from Krishna. If you cannot save, don't pose as a spiritual master. So the duty of the disciple, us, is to be able to understand. And how do we help our spiritual master, Krishna, to be we not help, but rather take part in this sweet word of compassion and love. By listening, understanding, and applying it in our life. Be a teacher by example. Live the life of a devotee. So Lord Chaitanya comes, He chants the holy names. Narada Muni glorifies Lord Krishna, His activities, His pastimes, and Krishna glorifies His devotees. It's a relationship that we should be entering. And that is the greatest opportunity we have while we're traveling now in this temporary body, in this temporary world. We're eternal. So now the question is, will you still be eating the chud? You know already it's chud. It's dead matter. Will you be? But it's very hard, you see. It's very hard. You're like this insect who got so stuck up in the spider web of Maya. All the senses are stuck up there. You cannot move. But through the blessing of the spiritual master, Krishna, the supreme purifier, that's why the holy name comes. And all what we do is Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. He purifies us. He takes us from this entanglement because we experience what is inherent in us. Life, love, eternal. And that is now directed upon the supreme person. Remembering His pastimes, His compassion. We enter that world just like the sun is always there. It's always there. All we got to do is, it's always there. So Krishna is always there. We have to be directed by the person who sees Him and guide us in that word of love. Because love is our eternal joy, rendering loving service. But now, what are we doing? It's all about me. I, me, mine. That's why when you even come to the point of people tell you, forgive yourself. But you're not God. How can you forgive yourself? Understand? So the spiritual master, relationship with the spiritual master is eternal. So when we come in contact with Lord Krishna and His devotees, we should see, wow, that is my world. Not this temporary world, dead matter. And because I am like this insect who got stuck up, all I have to do is receive the supreme purifier, Krishna. And when we receive that, the spiritual master, receive that, the chanting, he tells us, chant the holy names. Oh, it's very hard. I'm not vegetarian, I have these bad habits, I'm the mode of ignorance. No problem. Krishna will purify you. And when you chant, you get purified from all this misgiving. And then you begin to appreciate that when you hear Krishna's name, there's happiness within your heart. You sing and dance. You become focused. And the mind begins to be directed and cling to the holy names. And you cannot forget the holy names anymore. The moment you open your mouth, it's Krishna. Everything you see is connected with Krishna. And when you're not thinking, when the mind is not focusing with thinking of Krishna, you become disturbed. Oh, Krishna, I have to bring back my mind to Krishna. And He is the one who takes care of you, who takes care of us. It's always God's compassion. Love for God, the pure loving servant, is not a position, it's not a place. So we are so much engrossed with doing our own will. We don't have taste for compassion. Like for example, the spiritual master comes. He comes. And through seeing Him, He has so much love for all of us. He comes to this miserable world to invite us, come home. He gives us a process. And it's not, the process He gives us is sustainable. He does not pause, I'm gonna protect you, I'm gonna embrace you. Just surrender unto me. I'll carry you on my back. No, He does not do that. Because He is with wisdom. That if you don't have this wisdom, that you're eternally the loving servant of God, you will be still a servant. A loving servant of God serves God with happiness and pleasure. But if you want to serve God not according to His will, according to your will, you still be a servant of God. Because you'll be the servant of material nature. And what is material nature all about? This body is all about. Is the world of suffering and pain. And He gives us that wisdom. The truth will set us free. That what we're longing for, what we're looking for. Let's be real. Why are everybody struggling? Getting well, looking for someone to love. Diba? For example, you see how this pedophile, the pedophile, they wanted to engage looking for someone who's very young. Diba? The pedophile, the person who wants to enjoy material experience by following the dictates of his lust and the urge to senses to enjoy young girls, young boys. But in truth, that is a perverted contamination. We're looking for the eternal youth, the eternal child. But now, because of this disease of bodily identification, because of lust, we're looking in the wrong direction. We're not seeing the person. We're just seeing the freshness of that body, and you try to exploit it. That's a pedophile. They use words, euphemism, pedophilia. But let's be direct. Someone who wants to rape a child, who wants to eat a child. But they use nice words, euphemism, pedophilia. Someone who exploits young children. Someone who had sexual contact with 3-year-old child. Pedophilia. No, let's not talk about that. Why? Because when you see the truth, you'll be embarrassed. But because we're so covered, we're not embarrassed to eating shit, exploiting others. And that separates us from the world of the opulence of God's compassion. Because our focus and meditation is about ourselves, about eating this world, about enjoying. That is the disease that has covered us. And you come in contact with the association of devotees, and tells you, you know what? With compassion, you want to be purified? Let Krishna purify you. And He comes. He waits. On and on and on. That is the reason Krishna comes. To establish religion. When they talk about religion, He's going to establish another faith? Another group? More followers than our followers? No. Real religion is about love. It is about your heart. What you're longing for. It's about caring. It is the sweetness of rendering loving service. And it's now rendered in harmony with our eternal friend, Lord Krishna, guided by our spiritual master. So let's see. One time, there's this person. That's why it's wrong to be appointed. Spiritual life is not a place. It is receiving through oral reception, God, the instruction of spiritual master. So when we're so contaminated and illusion, we think that spiritual life is a position. So what do? We love it to become the top dog on the shit pile. I'm pure, I'm a disciple. I have initiated name, But in truth, you are also given the opportunity to experience its compassion. But now, You think, I'm holy, I'm entitled, to be able to come to Krishna. You must, scratch my back, do my will. And when you don't do their will, they get angry. What? And even though, our spiritual master comes, so happy to see the disciples, so happy to see the living entities chanting, Krishna, Krishna. And this person comes, you did not follow my instruction. I should be the one to choose who will see Jagad Guru. I don't trust you anymore. From now on, you cannot attend any program of the Sankirtan movement until and unless you crawl, bow down on your feet, beg. I will let you suffer. But this person has a name of a devotee. She's thinking, entitled, I'm working in this project. And you lowly people who cannot see, to be able to see, to enter the door, you must experience my cruelty. You must experience the pain of what I've experienced. So to see God, they have the audacity. They're not don't even have this compassion that the living entity, us, who are lost in this world, now have this human form of body and has the opportunity to love Krishna. But they think they're all, it's a position. And this guy also, you did not follow my protocol. I'm the security. I protect Krishna. No. For 2 years, I will not give you this opportunity of my compassion. I will give you this feeling of care and love and compassion. That is cruelty. You will not be able to see the spiritual master speak for 2 years until you bend because you're jade-headed, you're arrogant. These guys are crazy, and when they talk as if it's a position. No, it's not that. And everybody's like that in this world. But this is the epitome. What could be more lowly when the person who is so cruel, who has no compassion, the medium for him to change us is by force. So we should be aware of if we're making progress. Lord Krsna, when the kings were captured by this demon and put in a cave. They were put in a cave. Krishna, feeling in the story of the pastimes of Krishna, he was shedding tears. Lord Krishna, feeling so much unbearable to see them in pain and suffering. But this guy, because you're not able to do my will, and there's a saying, birds of the same feathers are of the same birds. So because of association with this person, they have become the same bird. So we must associate with the Supreme Purifier, the spiritual master. So we must distinguish whom to associate and follow. We shall associate with the likes of Narada Muni, with the likes of the pure lover of God, Parampara. And these people, we should be aware. They have a process based on cruelty, not compassion. And now they begin to talk about caring, compassion. You look, like Romarsan Sutta sitting on Abhyasasan. Oh, he's so great. He's sitting on Abhyasasan, representative, disciple of Lord Vyasadeva, Krishna. But if he does something contradictory to this purity of transcendental love and compassion, completely haywire, Not really. It's a diametrical oppose. It is lust, it is anger and greed. It's about lordship. Because they have this audacity to, you cannot able to be able to come in contact with Krishna, you have to kiss my ass, bow down, follow this, glorify me. Because when they speak, they show, I've been a disciple for decades. I've undergone the training of hardship and misery. And this is the process that I have achieved. So you can achieve Krishna through this process. No, the process is the supreme purifier, Krishna himself. So we'll discuss about that so we can be guided whom to follow, whom to listen, whom to hear. And we can see the difference, what is contradictory, what is completely deviated from the truth. The fruit of love for God is experiencing God's compassion and care. So you ask, I'll give you one last, the person is willing to make a stand so others can be happy. So the spiritual master, he gives us a story. If there's a ship or an airplane going to Krishna, 100 person only can go there, and he has this association with 100 disciples, and there's 101, so only 100 can go and ride that airplane, go to Krishna. Who will stay? Who will stay? The spiritual master will stay, and all of you go to Krishna. That's why Jesus Christ tells, what did he tell Mary Magdalene? Because everybody were looking at Mary Magdalene. Kill her, kill her. She's a prostitute, she's a sinner. They're all, in ancient times, they throw stones at you. And you die by the pain. Because thousands of people will be throwing stones at you until there's a hill of stone covering you. And the Pharisee, Caiaphas and Annas are there. She's sinful. She's not fit to be associated with us. To be associated with all these pure people, who are holy like us. Stone her to death because she's sinful. You know what happened? Jesus Christ came there. He said, whoever who has no sin must cast the first stone. And everybody, those of you who are sinless can cast the first stone, can throw the first stone. And everybody, the Caiaphas and Annas, all of those holy people, who are in the position of authority, being looked at as reverend, pure, they look and they show that because of the light, Jesus Christ there shown them for what they are, and they all left, dropped their stones, because all of them came to know that they are more sinful than the person whom they're condemning. And Jesus Christ threw the stone in front of her, and he said, go, sin no more. So, we'll discuss more about this, the pastimes of Krishna and his devotees, his compassion, and the pastimes of those who are not in harmony with that world of loving service. You can see it through their actions, their activities, what's come out of their mind, their heart, and the activities they do. They can be seen for their action. And here you can see the activities of the pure loving servant. And now you can make a choice whom you'll follow. You can make a choice whom whom will guide you. You understand? It's not that anyone who is appointed, he is the high priest. He's the greatest devotee. He's the disciple of Lord Vyasadeva. But he's not a teacher by example. He's just sitting there. Because when Lord Krsna came, Lord Balaram came, he was not able to see. So when Krsna came here, our spiritual master came here, what did these people see? It's the position. It is, wow, people are bowing down. He's a holy man. He sees the Swarup. You know? And they want that. They imitate him, you know, how he speaks, how he walks, you know. Jagad Guru said this, you know. Srila Prabhupada said this. It's a confidential teaching that, you know, there's confidential teaching that Srila Prabhupada taught us, you know. And you said, you know, I'm in this special project. And you didn't even ask. And what's that special project? I said to you, it's confidential. You need not know. And why are you telling that to me? To show how high they are. No? But that is completely contradictory to the state of consciousness of the devotee. As the third prayer of Lord Chaitanya, Lord Chaitanya is feeling one can chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, feeling himself lower than the straw in the street, more tolerant than the tree, and devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respects to others. You know Haridas Thakur? Because he's born in a Muslim family. His physical picture, his body is Muslim. He's not allowed to see Lord Jagannath. He's not allowed to see and enter the temple of Lord Jagannath, of Krsna, because of his body, Muslim body. But Lord Chaitanya came, embraced him. So when the spiritual master comes, it's about Krishna's love and compassion. And if we are so much in this demoniac consciousness of lordship, you know, we are not tasting compassion and love for others. We are not able to appreciate the opportunity to direct these individuals. And not only that, even disciples already of our spiritual master, they deny them access to our spiritual master. Our spiritual master, you know, years back, when my god brother, Japadas, went to go out and preach because he was so young, you know, 15 years old, he went out and preached. And our spiritual master, no, he'll have a hard time. And me also, I was there. I have a hard time, you know, going out there talking to old people, you know, you're so young. And then when we came back, Srila Prabhupada was there, you know. He's so happy seeing Japadas, embraced Japadas, you know. It's all about love and compassion. And he said, I know it's very hard, but because you went out there, you know, it's like a child, you know this story of because time is running out. You know the story of Ramayan, the spider trying to help Lord Ramachandra build bridge so they can cross the ocean of Ceylon, these build bridges. And this great, you know, Hanuman, you know, and all the devotee monkeys throwing big boulders. And they were, there's this small spider. And said, get out of the way, I might step upon you. You're insignificant. And Lord Rama saw him, said, no, let him. And told him, he may be very teeny-weeny, but 100%, all his leg is helping us, you know. He's engaging in activity that is rendering service to me, you know. Understand? It's all about that world of rendering loving service. So this, my God brother, he went out to be the hand, to be the mouth in his heart, to do what is pleasing to Srila Prabhupada. But when he came back, he said, it's hard. Oh, no, never mind. embrace him. But this person appoints herself. I'm working with the security. I'm the vanguard. I've been instructed by this person to protect the spiritual master. Because you did not follow my will. You heard Srila Prabhupada's lecture, not according to my guidance. From now on, you can never attend the chanting. You can never see Srila Prabhupada until you beg and bow down and kiss my ass. They look at you down, and this guy also, not appreciating that time is moving, not appreciating, getting along the relationship of the living entity, desiring to serve Krishna, and through Krishna's mercy, they were able to meet Krishna, the spiritual master. And now you get along the way. No. That's not the way to relate to Krishna. You should pass and experience the cruelty that I experience, the hardship, It's just like going, the training of the Marines. You want to be a Marine, to be a SEAL. In the beginning, you go there. You're like, they don't call you Marine. What do they call you? Cherry. What's cherry? You're Tilly. What's Tilly? You're girly. And they break you down, cut your hair, break you down. And they force you to be tough, to be leathernecks. Leathernecks? That, and you bite bullets. They train you, with cruelty and pain. And every day you run, you carry boulders, and you chant, kill, 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 kill. No? And that's the way they train you, Follow my instruction. You can never see Srila Prabhupada and hear about the sweetness of devotional service. Because she's blind. She cannot experience that. All she experiences is the pain and suffering. And she's not able to feel compassion upon those drowning people, us, who are lost, who are teeny-weeny, who are so fallen. And she sees that, fallen, you're not as pure as me. You're not allowed. And time passed by. But my God brother, who's working out, he's not even, my God brother, Panchatatvadas, he's not even glorified. But he went there. He made a stand to crawl, to eat. He said, I will do the will of Srila Prabhupada. Serve him, no matter what. Either you help me or not, that will be my life. And for all those years, he's been helping people, giving them the holy names. And he's not allowed to hear our Gurudev. Because these people, the security, the confidential, you should pass through us. And you were not able to follow our protocol, we will not give you the blessing because, no, you're so impure, you're so hard-headed. And what happened for 2 years? Not only that, people were there who were followers, guided, shepherded by Panchatatvadas and Atmaramadas. They said, no problem, because what has been given to us is sustainable. Krishna, the holy names. And they carry on doing what's in their heart, serving their spiritual master. And you know what happened? At the time, Panchatatvadas was inflicted with the disease. He has this tumor in his head. He's immobile. And at the time he's leaving the body. Krishna came. Srila Prabhupada came. Srila Prabhupada, how come you did not report that to me earlier? Krishna came and fetched Panchatatvadas. Srila Prabhupada called him, assured him, don't worry, Pancha. Krishna loves you. Krishna will take care of you. And Panchatatvadas, for so long, he's just working, serving his spiritual master, carrying on the mission, his heart connected, his shelter and surrender. When he heard Srila Prabhupada calling, just simply by someone telling him, Srila Prabhupada, Panchatatvadas, talk to his ear. Panchatatvadas, Srila Prabhupada said, don't fear. Krishna loves you. he will take care of you, and Srila Prabhupada loved. You know what? He's immobile, but he shouted, eyeball! All the gadgets, his head is swelling in pain, but when he heard that, he chanted, Krishna! Because his heart, his mind is connected under the lotus feet of his spiritual master, protected. And not only that, Srila Prabhupada called him and chanted with him, talked to him till the time, for 14 minutes, guided him, embraced him. And at the time he heard Srila Prabhupada, he came very calm in meditation, while the devotees around him in association, following the instruction of Srila Prabhupada, chanting the holy names until the time he left this world. You see, where those devotees were given the opportunity to partake that love and care. That should be our world. So we must make a choice whom to follow and listen. Will we follow all these hard-hearted, cruel people who have disposition and name and through example are not teacher by example? And the way they try to purify the spirit soul is by pain, cruelty, and hardness? That's not the process. That's imperfect. That is impure. The process is God Himself, the Supreme Purifier, the Lord of Love. We enter that word by chanting Krishna, by following our spiritual master. You should be very careful whom to follow. Not anyone who's, in the position, just like we were discussing yesterday. Diba? This young girl who were brought up in this cult, in this congregation, she thought, the pastor, I can take care of him. She asked questions, be with him always. And then what happened? The pastor violated her body, raped her. You understand? Why? Because he's not master of his senses. How to become master of our senses? Let Krishna take care of our senses. Govinda. So it's Krishna Himself who will take care of us. Not this, individuals who are posing as Krishna, who are posing as devotees. We should know our true, eternal, transcendental nature, our true, eternal function, and understand this word, love, L-O-V-E. What is this all about? It's about relating to a person, surrendering to a person. And when we speak of transcendental love, it's the eternal love of reciprocating with Krishna's love, doing things, engaging in harmony with the will of God, doing His will. You understand? So the science is very simple. All we got to do is follow the person who can guide us, the bona fide spiritual master who has these qualities. Goswami, master of his senses, he controls the 6 agents of the urges, the tongue, the belly, the genital. In short, he's 100% serving and loving God, transcendental to this world, and non-different from God. That is the bona fide spiritual master. He can save you from death. You're all afraid of death. The spiritual master can save you from death. Like Narada Muni, just by cursing them, Nalakubera, they were saved, protected, reinstated, serving Krishna. You understand? Is it clear to you? We're talking about real people, meaning spirit soul, who have followed the process, who have surrendered to the spiritual master. And through the mercy of the spiritual master, they were embraced. You don't need to be perfect because you're in a truest sense. In quality, you're perfect. What separates us from God is this false ego, this material disease. All we got to do, let Krishna purify that. Take shelter of Him, love Him, and be protected. Haribol, namaste.
Namo Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa Namo Devi, Ora Karuna Samaya. Shiva